In the tranquil suburbs of New York, where the trees stood sentry along the streets and children's laughter echoed, the Jones family had become a symbol of success and harmony. Their residence was a sprawling estate framed by vibrant gardens that changed with the seasons, a testament to Robert Jones's hard work and Emily's dedication. The house, with its white picket fence and flower beds overflowing with color, was a visual representation of the American dream. Robert, a prominent businessman in the commercial industry, had built his empire from the ground up, fueled by ambition, long hours, and an unwavering drive. He often returned home late, his briefcase in one hand and a smile for his family in the other. Emily was the quintessential homemaker, her days filled with managing the household and nurturing their two children, Olivia and Noah. She orchestrated everything with grace, from orchestrating school projects to hosting neighborhood parties. Yet, beneath this polished exterior, a brewing storm of secrets threatened to unravel their idyllic life. Seeking to maintain the beauty of their garden, the Jones family hired James, a skilled horticulturist in his early 30s. With his tousled hair and sun-kissed skin, he arrived with an air of enthusiasm that immediately captivated the family. James brought a fresh perspective, transforming the garden into a neighborhood marvel with his expertise in landscaping. His friendly demeanor made him an instant hit with the children, who would often follow him around, asking questions about the plants and helping him with small tasks. Emily, too, found herself drawn to his vibrant energy and shared passion for nature, which reignited her own love for the outdoors. As they worked side by side, conversations blossomed. They exchanged gardening tips, shared stories of their childhoods, and discussed their dreams and aspirations. Emily found herself laughing more freely with James than she had in a long time. The bonds of friendship grew deeper, entwined with the fragrant blooms of the garden, laying the groundwork for a dangerous liaison. As the summer sun bathed the garden in golden light, the bond between Emily and James deepened. Their conversations shifted from the practicalities of gardening to more intimate matters, hopes, regrets, and the challenges of life. They shared laughter beneath the boughs of blooming cherry trees, each moment charged with an electric undercurrent. Emily found herself captivated by James's tales of wanderlust, his dreams of traveling the world and exploring exotic landscapes. In return, she shared her own dreams, revealing how she had once aspired to become an artist before settling into the role of a devoted wife and mother. The garden became their sanctuary, a place where they could escape the responsibilities of their lives. They stole glances that lingered just a moment too long, and each brush of their hands sent shivers down Emily's spine. Despite her growing attraction, she tried to resist the pull, knowing the consequences could shatter her family. Yet, the allure of James's presence was intoxicating, drawing her in deeper. One magical afternoon, the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm, golden hue over the garden. The scent of blooming jasmine hung in the air as they worked together, planting new flowers. Laughter filled the space as they joked about the quirks of gardening. But as their hands brushed while reaching for a trowel, the atmosphere shifted. The lingering touch ignited a spark of desire that neither could ignore any longer. In a moment of weakness, they shared a passionate kiss, a culmination of unspoken feelings that had been building between them. Time seemed to stand still as they lost themselves in the moment, the world around them fading away. That kiss marked the beginning of their clandestine affair, a thrilling but dangerous secret that would change everything. As the days turned into weeks, their meetings became more frequent and more intense. They found secluded spots in the garden, hiding from the world as they explored the depths of their passion. Emily felt alive in a way she hadn't felt in years, but alongside the thrill came a gnawing guilt that threatened to consume her. Robert, oblivious to the storm brewing in his garden, began to notice subtle changes in Emily. She seemed distant, often lost in thought, her laughter lacking its usual warmth. The time she spent in the garden stretched longer than ever, and Robert's intuition whispered that something was amiss. He missed the connection they once shared, the late-night talks, and the playful banter. Now, he found himself feeling like a ghost in his own home. His suspicions grew as he observed the way Emily would sneak glances at her phone, her heart racing when she received a text. The once happy couple began to drift apart, and Robert wrestled with feelings of inadequacy. He wanted to confront her, but fear held him back. Fear of losing the life he had built, fear of the truth he might uncover. Driven by a mix of fear and suspicion, Robert decided to investigate. He started checking phone records, looking for patterns in Emily's communication. He noted the frequency of calls and messages from an unknown number, each time feeling a knot tighten in his stomach. With every unanswered question, his determination to uncover the truth intensified. One fateful evening, he decided to confront Emily. He returned home early, his heart pounding as he approached her in the garden. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, but the beauty of the moment was lost on him. "Emily, we need to talk," he said, his voice steady but laced with urgency. At first, Emily tried to deflect, but Robert pressed on, revealing his suspicions. The confrontation escalated, emotions boiling over as accusations flew. Cornered by his questions, Emily's facade crumbled. She confessed to the affair, the words spilling from her lips like poison. Robert's heart shattered in that moment, the betrayal cutting deeper than any physical wound. In the aftermath of the explosive confrontation, Emily felt a mixture of relief and despair. While the truth was out, it also meant the end of her seemingly perfect life. Robert's anger was palpable, and she knew the consequences would be dire. Desperate to salvage what remained, she turned to James, their secret meetings now tinged with urgency and fear. "We can't let this ruin us," Emily said, her voice trembling as they met in the garden under the cover of darkness. "I can't lose everything, my family, my life. I love you, but I can't bear the thought of facing Robert, of losing the kids." James, too, felt trapped. The weight of their actions began to sink in, and he knew they couldn't continue living in the shadows, constantly looking over their shoulders. "What if we could make it all go away?" he suggested, his voice low and conspiratorial. "What if we could remove Robert from the picture?" Under the cover of night, they devised a chilling plan to murder Robert, meticulously plotting every detail. They discussed how to stage the act as an accident, an unfortunate fall down the stairs, something that could easily be mistaken for a tragic mishap. Emily's heart raced with a mixture of fear and excitement as they laid out the blueprint for their dark intentions, believing they could finally be free without suspicion. As they rehearsed their roles, the thrill of danger intertwined with the intoxicating promise of freedom. But deep down, Emily felt a gnawing sense of dread. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were crossing a line that could never be uncrossed. Yet, the more they discussed it, the more she convinced herself it was the only way out. On the evening of October 20, 1992, the atmosphere in the Jones household was thick with unspoken tension. Robert returned from work, a briefcase in one hand and a smile on his face, completely unaware of the storm brewing around him. Emily greeted him with her usual warmth, but inside, her heart raced as she recalled the plan they had devised. After dinner, the family settled in for the evening. The children played quietly in the living room, their laughter echoing in the background as Robert prepared to head upstairs. Emily watched him closely, her heart pounding. It was time. As Robert ascended the staircase, she felt a mixture of panic and resolve. Moments later, Robert was found unconscious at the base of the staircase, blood pooling around his head. Emily's screams pierced the air as she called emergency services, her voice trembling with panic as she reported that her husband had fallen. The scene unfolded in chaos, sirens wailing in the distance as neighbors rushed to offer help, all while Emily maintained her facade of a distraught wife. When the police arrived, the atmosphere shifted from chaos to a meticulous investigation. Detectives examined the scene, noting the blood and the position of Robert's body. At first, it seemed to be a tragic accident, but seasoned detectives quickly began to see inconsistencies. Bruises on Robert's body did not match the narrative of a simple fall, and the absence of defensive wounds raised red flags. Emily's demeanor, though distraught, caught the attention of the detectives. Her tears seemed rehearsed, her responses too quick. As they began to question her, Emily felt the walls closing in around her. The perfect facade she had maintained began to crack, revealing the darkness lurking beneath. In the days following Robert's death, detectives cast a wide net, interviewing neighbors, friends, and family members. Rumors of Emily and James's affair began to circulate, casting a shadow over the grieving widow. The detectives noted James's frequent presence in the neighborhood, and as they delved deeper into the investigation, they uncovered a trail of evidence linking the two lovers. Phone records revealed a flurry of calls and messages exchanged between Emily and James, each one more damning than the last. As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, the detectives realized they were dealing with a case of passion gone horribly wrong. With mounting evidence, the detectives moved swiftly. Emily and James were arrested and charged with murder, leaving the community in shock. Neighbors who had once admired the Jones family were left grappling with the fallout, struggling to reconcile the shocking revelations with the image of the perfect family they had once known. The media descended upon the story, sensationalizing every detail, and the once tranquil neighborhood was thrust into the spotlight. As Emily sat in a holding cell, the reality of her choices washed over her like a cold wave. She had betrayed the man she had vowed to love, and now she was facing the consequences of her actions. The weight of guilt pressed down on her, but a part of her still clung to the hope that she and James could somehow find a way through this. The trial became a media sensation, gripping the public's attention. Cameras flashed as Emily and James entered the courtroom, their faces a mix of defiance and despair. The prosecution laid out a compelling case, revealing the sordid affair, the cold-blooded murder plot, and the motives of greed and lust. Each witness painted a picture of a woman driven to desperation, and the tension in the courtroom was palpable. Defense attorneys scrambled to argue for their client's innocence, suggesting alternative scenarios. They painted Emily as a victim of circumstance, a woman trapped in a loveless marriage who had been seduced by a younger man. The courtroom drama unfolded like a high-stakes thriller, with every testimony adding fuel to the fire. After days of gripping testimony and powerful arguments, the jury retired to deliberate. The weight of their decision hung heavily in the air, the community holding its breath in anticipation. Finally, the moment arrived. As the verdict was read, both Emily and James stood rigid, the reality of their actions crashing down around them. The jury found them guilty of first-degree murder, and the sentence, life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, echoed through the courtroom, sealing their fates. The courtroom erupted in chaos as the verdict was announced. Emily felt a wave of despair wash over her, the reality of her choices crashing down like a tidal wave. She had lost everything, the life she had known, the family she had betrayed, and the man she had loved so fiercely. The tragic tale of the Jones family serves as a haunting reminder of how passion and deceit can intertwine, leading to devastating consequences. What once appeared as a picture-perfect life was shattered by betrayal, leaving a community to grapple with the shadows of a crime that laid bare the darkness lurking beneath their suburban bliss. As the echoes of laughter faded from the gardens now overrun with weeds of sorrow, the story of love lost to deceit became etched in the annals of their lives, a painful testament to the fragility of trust and the depths of human desire. Emily, now behind bars, reflected on the choices that had brought her to this moment. She had chased a fleeting happiness, but in doing so, she had sacrificed everything that truly mattered. The garden, once a symbol of beauty and growth, had become a graveyard of dreams, a stark reminder of the life she had thrown away for a fleeting moment of passion. In the hushed corners of her cell, Emily vowed to learn from her mistakes, to find a way to atone for the pain she had caused. The road ahead would be long and fraught with challenges, but she was determined to confront the darkness within her and seek redemption in whatever form it might take.